Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the so-called El Clasico that we believe is an El Clasico, that the CSK fans don't believe is an El Clasico because of the gap in skill. But they still claim that it's an El Clasico. We're talking about RCB versus CSK. Every single year, something big happens. Now, the first game in Chepauk was not really the greatest of games per se for us to be able to discuss it on such a high wavelength. We discussed CSK's loss more than we discussed RCB's win last time because that's how bad it was. This time, in the Chinnaswamy, knowing that our track record in the Chinnaswamy is terrible, but also knowing that CSK's track record in general is terrible, it is hard to put a finger on what might happen today. And that is what we are here to discuss.
Yeah, indeed. So it's head to head 5-on-5 against RCB CSK in Chinnaswamy. So that's the only good thing about RCB CSK this time. Another good thing is being CSK is already
Already knocked out.
e
Eee. Now, the problem is, I really wanted them to win against Punjab in the previous match. As I said in our previous stream as well, we required Punjab to lose just so that we could put that E on their name today.
yeah.
But unfortunately, doesn't look like the case.
Either way,
Uh,
Punjab is our North Indian branch.
yeah,
So E is a
credit
E.
to Avi from cricket.com for the Winnaswamy quote.
Yeah.
And
Straight
this,
away we have Drop Shepherd.
apparently, Phil Salt is not fit yet. So Bethel will continue, which means Shepard will also continue.
Breaking news, KCA has removed all TVs from Chinnaswamy dressing rooms. Or what
Aiyo.
if they have a TV with a cage like system from Kota?
Yeah, no, you saw how during the WPL they put a cage around that car so that Perry doesn't break it. They will do the same to all the TVs this time.
Bro,
PSL should be more concerned because they're
Tala
the
should
ones
be
that
given the
have
entrance
legitimate
into the
TVs.
stadium upon getting that one new TV.
True. Ah, but I don't even know where to start. Track record wise, we are coming from a good place. We have beaten the other jailer bro at Chinnaswamy just prior to this game. Um, and CSK have lost against our North Indian branch, which is basically Shivam's team.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
and
mean,
we had a good 6 days of gap until this game. Drop there, no, bro.
you forgot what Dayal did last year, brother. Just wait. Timing
We
is
need
lead.
Dayal for farewell 3.0.
True. It won't be the same without him.
Yeah, it would be poetic for Dayal yet again picking up the wicket of MS.
Yeah. Also, shout out to our, speaking of this Winnaswamy scene, as I said, shout out to our cricket.com boys because they have once again put up a video of us today and farmed one crazy amount of views. One more 500,000 views came today for them, thanks to one baseless statement made by me. All peaceful.
CSK is Dayal's
I,
dog.
I think we have to talk about this in a little bit more depth. Phil Salt is not 100% fit. Now, the promise that he made to Mr. Nags about hitting 12 runs every over has to wait because I don't think they'll be playing him today as well, which means we might see another Jacob Bethel opening
I,
soon.
I think it's more of a bluff. I think Salt will play.
If he does, well and good. We saw what he did last time. I'll I'll stick my neck out and say that Salt will probably cook these bowlers today on this kind of a pitch, especially if we're chasing. Um, Now another speaking of chasing or batting first, the toss might be an issue. You never know, but the bigger issue at hand is rain.
It will be there.
Yep.
No
Now
matter what you do, the day has been extremely sunny without any cloud movements. That is a sign of good chance of rain. It's
Yeah,
been the case for the last 2 3 days. Same pattern, day being extremely sunny and the afternoons having thunderstorms. The forecast even says it has thunderstorms, but it reduces upon reaching 9 p.m. mark. So it will be something a similar start, just like the Punjab game. Of
very similar.
course,
Yeah,
dust will come
we
into
might lose
place.
a
There
few
will be
overs.
moisture underneath the surface. Will we see Ashwin back for
I
CSK?
think so. That statement will completely depend on when it rains. If it rains before the toss, then they will keep one sheet ready with Ashwin in the bowling first quota. They get to submit two sheets, right? So in case they're bowling first, they will submit a sheet with Ashwin's name. If they are batting first, then I think they will submit a sheet with an extra batter in their rank. So that might end up being both Shankar and Huda in this case, because in case of a collapse, they will require the extra additional batting option. And Huda can also give you a bit of off spin, just like Ashwin. It's not like Ashwin has been that effective in the first place. So I'd say Huda would give you the same dimensions anyway.
Ellis
At
will
least
be back. I haven't
then,
even seen Ellis anywhere near the CSK dugout.
yeah, that will actually make a big difference to them because Ellis does extract a good amount of bounce. If it is similar to the pitches that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 games, then I would say that Ellis will be pretty effective on this kind of a track. But
I
if
hope
there
the
is
temple visit help Rajat with the toss luck. Temple visit is not for
temporary
toss
for
luck.
for the
It's the
cup,
process.
yeah, it's the bigger picture because as we pointed out before, Tala went to Tirupati 2011 World Cup, Rohit went to Tirupati 2024 World Cup. So Rajat Patidar went to Tirupati. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chinnaswamy,
they have
it
borrowed
happens.
some pitch from Perth this time.
Yeah, and that's why we're saying Ellis will be effective if they give a pitch like that. Patirani, on the other hand, his Yorkers will be the least effective thing on this kind of a pitch, especially because of his brand new action. So the way he's landing the ball will give them just a little bit more bounce to let the batsman get under the ball. So it might be a factor that goes against his style of bowling. You never know until you actually see it happen. You see it unfold on the ground. But again, it also comes down to how the rain plays out. Let's see.
Yeah, little bit touch on Tala's performance in Chinnaswamy. So he has quite a lot of half centuries here,
Yeah. 70
and
of 30 has happened twice, once in 2011, once in 2018. Then there's been an 82 of 40 yard balls, which came in 2019. But the more
Mhm.
effective part of that match was Dale Stein's banger delivery to Suresh Raina. Hopefully, we get to see Josh Hazelwood repeat that against Shivam Dubey today.
Well, yeah, it's Kohli who is the leading run scorer for RCB against CSK, and it's Tala who is the leading run scorer for CSK
Yeah,
against RCB.
absolutely.
Poetic, absolutely.
Now, again, that comes down to the fact that both of them have played the most number of games against each other as well.
Hmm.
Um, but I think
Not to
a factor
forget, Tala has a very good average and strike rate in Chinnaswamy.
correct. Not just in the IPL, but also for India as well.
Yeah.
His overall track record in Chinnaswamy is great because he knows that he can just muscle the ball and get it past the boundary line at any stage. Now, will we see the same Tala against the likes of Suyash Sharma when there is a short leg and a leg slip placed for him? We don't know.
Yeah.
Sam, okay, let's also
Nah.
we'll talk about his entire batting order. Now, Sheikh Rashid hasn't inspired too much confidence, but Ayush Matre and Dual Brevis will be forces to reckon with because they like the bounce. They enjoy bounce coming up onto their chest level, so that they pull the ball pretty easily towards mid wicket, square leg, you name it, right? Sam Curran, on the other hand, now if he is playing at number three, we are not going to see the same kind of innings from Sam Curran and Jadeja consistently if they are batting at 3 and 4. Now, I do not understand the mindset behind promoting Curran to 3. It might be a play that might work out in the future because he used to be a good player with the bat and the ball, right? He was a genuine all-rounder back in the day. Right now, his overall skill set in terms of how he holds the bat is pretty diminished. And you can't expect him to do the same stuff every single game. And I wouldn't consider Sam Curran as a threat for this game.
Last game was just a one-off game. I don't know how mugs like Karan and Jadeja can bat at 3 and 4. They absolutely can't bat in T20 at number 3 and number 4. It was just a one-off game. Poor bowling, poor fielding from Punjab. That's all I have to say. I'm not even crediting their batting here. Uh, but yeah, Karan at 3 and Jadeja at 4 is not at all dangerous. That's
Yeah,
making more damage to CSK by
correct. It's
pushing
wasting more
Bhuvai
balls so that Travis doesn't get to utilize the full quota. Because what he said about Rachan Ravindra at the start of the tournament, we will say about Dual Brevis now.
Yeah,
In the entire batting lineup, there is Dual Brevis and there is Daylight.
that's all. You removed one overseas player for another
Yeah.
with the same ability. Yeah.
Yeah, from one choking country to another choking country. You also speaking of which, Dual Brevis's overall record in the IPL in all the games that he's played, he's won one game and he's lost 12 games.
Few words
So
on baby. No, not at all worried.
not worried because both see the two best players right now with the bat for CSK are obviously going to be Ayush Matre and Dual Brevis. Now, Ayush Matre, I don't know to what extent he's going to survive the power play against quality line and length because that is something that is not easy to bat against in the Chinnaswamy, especially if you're batting first. Brevis, on the other hand, will come in at a stage where it's much easier to bat. Now, is that going to make a difference given that Jadeja and Karan have used up too many balls to actually make a difference? Only time will tell. Because if we are smart, we will treat Karan like we treated Dubey last year. We will make him play 7 of 15 and then say bye bye to him.
Yeah. Uh, Baby AB against Krunal or Suyesh won't be the same thing. He'll be batting in Chinnaswamy, which is looks like one of the toughest conditions to bat in this entire IPL. So it
Yeah,
will be challenging. And considering the rain, steepy bounce, and everything, Baby AB is short. If you have the
yeah,
likes of Josh Hazelwood, who likes to hit the deck, there's no escape route for those bounces.
correct. So
Yeah,
when you're
you
looking
mentioned
at
like
the players
Ayush
who bat
Matre,
number
and
5
they
and
like
6,
to play the bounce,
yeah,
but this is a different kind of bounce that comes from Josh Hazelwood. And since there will be moisture, if Bhuvi can get the ball up running, he can move the ball both the ways. It will be challenging for their openers. It's easy
yeah.
to get a breakthrough.
Now, again, when you're looking at the players that bat at number 5 and 6 generally, if you take RCB for example, it's Jitesh and David. Now, they will be facing a good solid amount of pace and barely any spin, right? Because they come in at that stage of the innings. Similarly, Shivam Dubey is going to come in at a stage after Karan and Jadeja, which means number 5. Sorry, number 6 after Brevis also. So you have Brevis at 5 and Dubey at 6, which means they will be playing a large majority of pace. So Shivam Dubey, being the so-called spin basher that he is renowned to be on flat pitches, is not exactly going to work out because by the time he comes in, it's going to be Hazelwood bowling the 16th or 17th over at that stage. How do
Maybe a
they?
15th over, last final over of the game.
Yeah. So yeah, it all comes down to whether he's able to tackle that the kind of bounce that Chinnaswamy has on offer. Now they will have to work out their field set a little bit more with how they utilize their third man and fine leg because we've seen a lot of top edges flying away to the boundary behind the keeper. That straighter third man is something that Rajat should possibly put a little bit more thought into because it worked last game, and you never know, you might see a couple of catches going there this game.
Yeah, it's rained for the past 2 3 days, and there will be the pitch would have sucked up enough water, so it
Yeah,
it will contain the good bounce. So
Correct.
there will be a lot of edges flying around. And plus, it's CSK. Gets a lot of luck with the edges. We saw that in the May 18th game as well. So many boundaries flew
True.
past the edges.
Yeah. And it's been a recurring scenario for us actually. We saw that on in the May 18th game, which was the last league game in the Chinnaswamy last year. We saw that in the last league game in the Chinnaswamy, even in 2023, when Shubman Gill got that 100. It was just him getting. I think we,
There
we
was
had
nearly
32 runs scored of edges that day.
nearly 40 runs out of edges that day.
Yeah,
And not to forget, even that day, it rained like anything, cats and dogs. That day,
yeah,
city was flooded despite that Chinnaswamy had 20 over game.
true. And look, that all comes down to the sub-air system. Irrespective of how sunny it might be outside right now, you will see a good amount of rain just before the match. When that rain stops, we can see about how many overs are lost and all of that. Anyway,
Yeah,
Abhishek has
anyways,
sent a voice note. Might as well
hmm.
play it. Let's hope that it's not some Jake Fraser mega bullshit.
Bro, the funny thing is, like, imagine if CSK wins, yeah? So these fans, like, they're gonna celebrate as if they won the cup. And the irony will be like,
Raidu.
they trolled RCB like last time for the same thing, yeah? So that will be so funny. Like, imagine if they win. Anyways, I'm supporting CSK because
Yeah,
I
because
want
it's gonna help
It
DC
World
benefits
qualify.
Cup.
DC. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
But
I saw a few videos of cricket.com after the loss against Punjab by CSK.
yes.
Those fans had one goal, one life goal to beat CSK, sorry, to beat RCB in Chinnaswamy on May 3rd. One of the fan even mentioned that winning against RCB is bigger than winning a trophy.
Now, these are the same fans that claim that it's not a rivalry at all. And
These
as I
are the
said,
same fans who call RCB Mumbai, sorry, CSK Mumbai El Clasico.
yeah.
RCB Mumbai is beyond El Clasico, but yeah,
No,
El
RCB
Clasico.
Mumbai is the final of IPL 2025.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a good game overall. And to address Abhishek's point, Delhi might not qualify. We're at a stage where Delhi might not qualify because they have one game against GT, one game against MI, and a game against PBKS, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, they're cooked.
They play three out of the top four teams right now, which puts them in a bit of jeopardy. How close they might get to qualification only depends on how much RCB fucks up. Because,
Hmm.
we have PTSD from 2020. We've done this before. It
Been
happened
there,
to us
seen
last season.
that, done everything. Yeah.
We've seen everything, we've done everything other than winning a trophy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Let's see. I mean, I have sort of mixed feelings about both DC and Punjab. I don't know which one of them might end up choking harder. GT, however, will choke only during the playoffs, not until that happens.
Yeah, they're burning out all their luck is what I feel like.
Law of averages,
Top
right?
three carrying the batting lineup. We have seen this.
Yeah, it's
There's
literally what RCB
absolutely nothing.
was.
Absolutely nothing from number four. That's what we can tell. There has been no contributions from number four,
Yeah,
despite a
because
few
they
big
somehow decided that Washington Sundar is a better player than Shaswin Rutherford.
In
Yeah.
what world can Washington Sundar bat at number four in T20 cricket?
Mm. I think there was one
Even
stage.
yesterday's game, GT
Yeah,
could have reached 250 from how
absolutely.
they were batting in the power play and the middle overs. But just sending Washington Sundar was the differentiator of those 25 runs.
Correct. And they were, if I'm not wrong, GT were 150 in 13 overs. Now, getting the other 100 runs in the remaining 7 overs is not a big deal for them. It's just that they sent Washington Sundar followed by Shah Rukh Khan. Sundar played a good few dot balls before he hit 1-6 when Harsha Bhogle was feeling skeptical about his batting. So he was going to say, Washington Sundar's batting makes you wonder, and then he hits the six and he says, okay, I'm not. anymore. DC versus MI is the last game for both DC and MI. That was literally what our situation was in 2022, right? It might become
Oh
a
yeah,
decision for RCB.
yeah.
And this time we might be cheering for Will Jacks to finish the job for us. You never know. The world works in mysterious ways, gentlemen. The world works in very mysterious ways. Cricket is a very funny game.
Yeah. What if that becomes a decider? Decider for Delhi eventually, yeah.
It's very possible, right? Because I don't know if they might win their game against GT and Punjab. They might win one, but I don't know if they'll win both. So DC versus MI, really not too sure. Would you rather have GT or MI in
My
qualifier one? Look, I think we've come down to a stage where it has to be MI. If it's the final, also it has to be MI because
EMI.
we don't want anyone making statements like, "Oh, you beat some lully team, Gujarat Titans. We also beat them in 2023. Big difference." We don't want that shit.
See, if
We
we are
will.
a good team, if we deserve to win the championship, we deserve to beat every other team in this tournament, the
Correct.
strongest team in the tournament, the five-time champions. Let it be
Yeah.
Mumbai Indians.
We can't sneak our way to the trophy like CSK did in 2023. There's a lot that went down which was way too favorable for them. They got extremely lucky with how the rain played out and how the toss played out, and then how the match was shifted to the next day. It's something about that reserve day thing, right? Um, at the end of the day, we have to play Mumbai in the finals because that's the only way to prove our worth for the trophy. Beating
Yeah,
the best team in the history of the IPL is the only way to finish the job, to close the case.
yeah. Jitesh wants Bumrah anyway. Bumrah means one Pudanga. Yeah, absolutely. You're making a very good point, bro. GT is playing the smartest cricket. Come on, yeah,
They are
they
not
are.
not
Last game was one of the smartest cricket I have seen in the power play. Smartest and safest power play hitting.
safest, very calculated.
Yeah, that might hunt them back, which is I'm
Yeah,
saying. In case there is one wicket and you draw two bloods and you have a number for walk in,
yeah,
GT hasn't been prepared for that situation in this entire IPL.
yeah. So they got I think 7 fours in 8 balls yesterday, which all came in very safe fashions. Nothing was kite, nothing was aerial. Everything was on the ground. Everything was hit into the gaps. No fielder was anywhere close to any of those balls. So in a situation like that, when they're playing classical orthodox shots and taking the team past 200, it goes to show that there is a lot of potential with this team to back the title. We're not going to disagree with that. We completely agree with it. What it comes down to is the kind of pitch that is offered to them during the playoffs because every playoff is a 170, 180 classic, right? You usually never see playoffs which hit 200 plus games. Now, the CSK final that we saw in 2023 is probably an exception for that.
Marginally 200, yeah.
In final was probably another exception, which completely happened because of Shane Watson's final over. Or else that also would have been a 190 game.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, in a 180 game, are your openers going to be, if they are batting first, especially, are they going to take the same level of calculated risks, or are they going to push for that extra 20 and lose out on 15 runs instead? So all these
Yeah,
things are very common to see in knockout games in all formats of cricket. Top order
yeah, the
collapse.
law of averages will catch up at some time. Yes, no doubt they have three GT batters in the top four for orange cap, but law of averages doesn't spare anyone.
Correct. So yeah, I mean, let's see where it goes. It's scary for sure. Okay, I'm not too sure about how it's going to go from here. But if you're looking at just today's game, one game at a time, we close this chapter first. We say our goodbyes. We put that gravestone up, and then we move forward to the next games.
Hmm.
All right. We've covered quite a bit. Is there anything else that we need to go through?
I think uh, I touch upon Prasidh Krishna's beautiful bowling, beautiful
Krishna, yes.
comeback.
Fair. He's had the best economy among all the bowlers this season, right? It's been better than Booby, better than Hazelwood. So he's number one on that list among every bowler that we've seen across all the games. And he's also in line for the purple cap. He's in terrific contention for it. And throughout his career in the IPL, zero man of the match performances. And suddenly this year for GT, he pulls up with two man of the match performances, which is an insane exponential upward graph. So he's been doing well. His height, his bounce, the way he's using his variations, all these things are things that we wanted him to do 3 years ago. But tenth has finally caught up with
Yeah,
him.
finding some sense in that bowling. He always had the pace, hit the deck, everything he had. Control and that fast bowling mindset was lacking.
Correct.
I have backed Prasidh Krishna a number of times and got bashed back.
Absolutely.
But good to see Prasidh Krishna getting the limelight now. He's clocking 149s now. Uh, Not to forget, he's coming back from an injury. Last year,
Injury.
for most of the time, he didn't play the domestic cricket as well.
Yeah.
Uh, if you look at the purple cap leaderboard, it's Prasidh Krishna, it's Hazelwood, then you have Bolt, and yeah. So it's all those
Yeah.
conventional
Because-
textbook bowlers, and top two being hit the deck bowlers.
Yeah.
That's giving them very good returns in the wickets that they have provided in this season.
If Rabada comes back, I'll be the happiest person. I would rather face Rabada than Coetzee.
Yeah, I don't think GT would make that change anymore.
Yeah, washed Rabada at this point is a much better option for an opposition's point of view. Hazelwood, I don't think so. I don't think we should be resting him until top two is 100% solidified because every single game makes a lot of sense. No. Swastik, see, giving chances to players
Actually, yeah, like
for
giving
the
chance
last
first
against
day.
KKR, you might consider it, okay? But
See,
we've not
let's say
solidified our top two
win
yet.
tonight. We'll be
Yeah,
16 and our top two chances are currently 62%.
yes.
Okay, it will substantially increase after tonight's performance. So
16
that
is
means,
probably 99% playoffs
yeah,
guaranteed. So
okay, that
qualification is
means
not
we
the
go
issue.
into Ekana. Ekana
Yeah,
is first six homegrown. Might as well
correct.
rest DDP over there.
Okay, yeah. On Ekana, you can probably try that out.
Yeah,
Just that, I would rather have top two secured completely, put that aside, and then give your other players a chance to test your bench strength. Um, I agree with the fact that you shouldn't be risking Hazelwood and Bhuvi too much. You could always try out the likes of Rasik and Abhinandan, which is not really going to end well for RCB.
I just
Yeah,
want to try Swastik and Tushar. That's all.
Tushara. Fair enough. But
It
yeah,
can decrease only if the team is losing. My case is like hypothetically, let's say if we win today, based on today's scenario, I'm saying it will increase.
yeah. See, like our ideal scenario would be to win today, to win at Ekana,
That
come back
is,
with Swami, and play these bench strength folks for the SRH game, and then bring back your solid 100% guaranteed playing 11 for the KKR game because they need one game before they can move into the playoffs just to keep them in that rhythm. So that's the way you would ideally look at it. But in that process, you need to make sure that no one else takes that top two spot away from us. You don't have to finish one. Finishing two is the same as finishing one in the IPL.
qualifier one is being played at Eden Gardens, right?
Qualifier one and the final is in Eden. The other two happen in Hyderabad, if I'm not wrong.
Hyderabad. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, makes sense bringing our actual squad for the KKR game because same ground dimensions,
Yeah.
uh, same similar kind of conditions. Yeah. So
Now the
it's
only thing
Ekana
about
and the
doing is
SRS game.
put a good amount of rest. That's it.
You have those are the two games that you can experiment with your squad.
Correct.
but I
Now,
would
the
like to
reason
see
we don't
some.
have to worry about it too much is because we got one full week between our previous game and this game. So that is already a good amount of rest for our players.
Yeah,
Testing bench
even the
secondary.
next game, Ekana's game is after 6 days. It's May
Yeah,
9th. So again, you have another good 6 days of break.
exactly. If Bethel starts, does he bowl? This is a brilliant question. He bowls if we are bowling first and it's rained. Then give him one over in the power play. See how it goes. If
Yeah.
not, don't worry about it. Don't let him touch the
Nothing to
ball.
worry. You have Suyesh, you have
Yeah.
Krunal. Yeah.
Since the rest of the lineup is pretty left-hander heavy, by the time Bethel comes in to make a difference, you will either have Karan Jadeja or Dubey in the middle. So you wouldn't want to risk it against those guys. Okay, left arm spin unnecessary when you have the likes of Suyash.
Yeah, Suyesh has been due big time for some wickets, and I
Yes.
really hope this is his day.
Yeah, economy. I am perfectly fine with what he's been doing so far, as long as he
That's,
doesn't screw up his fourth over. That is all I'm asking for.
yeah. Who is your MVP for today?
MVP for today, Yash Dayal,
Is there MVP from CSK?
Brevis.
Interesting. It's such a myth to not bowl slow left arm against left arm to
Correct.
be
I
against.
agree. But in the Chinnaswamy, when it is easier to just whack it away to the leg side, since the boundaries are so small, and the altitude factor means the ball is going to travel much easier. You wouldn't want to risk those boundaries based on the game situation, right? You could always try it out in the power play to see if you get a decent amount of turn from your spinners after it's rained. But if not, I would personally not risk it when I have two other spinners who are doing the job. Since Bethel is a bit slower in the air, Krunal is much flatter. So you can always bowl Krunal to
And
someone like
Krunal
Shivam.
is taller, not to forget the height factor.
He extracts a good amount of bounce, which means when the likes of Shivam Dubey, when they swing it, trying to
It
target
hits
mid
the
wicket,
bat hard.
there's a chance of a slight
Top
miscue
edge.
going away for a catch at maybe long on or mid wicket. You never know.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a few things that have to keep rotating around in the captain's mind. It all comes down to how they need to, sort out their bowling order. Sachet dancing, bowing in the stadium, smoke drinking juice. Maybe you're in for a surprise, maybe not. Hmm. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's with that we wrap up the preview of RCB versus CSK, and hopefully, if the game ends early, network is good and everything, we might be live
Maybe.
for Farewell 3.0.
Yeah. Again,
CSK.
it all comes down to how quickly we probably get back home in time for our live. If it's too late in the night, I don't know if I'll have the energy to do it. But let's see. Okay, Abhishek wants one last voice message, so might as well
Hmm.
put this
We'll
for
wrap up with Abhishek.
Only RCB and GT have qualified now. And MI is not yet qualified because they played one game extra. Okay, so they have 3 games left, and those games are against GT, PBKS,
DC.
and DC,
Correct.
and they can lose all 3 of them. Yeah, and also PBKS, like they are on 13 points, so they might choke. Yeah, so DC can actually get in. They have a really good chance.
That,
Considering the
that
hypothetical situation that you are explaining, yes, definitely they can.
they could lose, they could win.
Realistically, I'm thinking DC, Mumbai, Punjab winning a few of the games,
Yeah,
which makes the chances of DC and Punjab dependent on certain scenarios.
correct. Now DC's only easy game comes against SRH. So if they can solidify their points by then, you never know.
And
But
with
this year,
Punjab being on the odd point,
yeah,
they will forget everything about NRR.
correct. So you could either have Punjab finishing at 15 and missing out, or you could have them at 17 and making it without worrying about the NRR. So for them, they don't have to worry about any extra equations. For them, the goal is clear: get out there and win. It's as simple as that. So, what if MI lose all three? Possible. What if RCB lose all three? Possible. What if DC
Possible.
lose all three? Possible.
Possible.
Because DC also play GT, MI, and PBKS. MI also play GT, DC, and PBKS. Now that cluster is going to get split apart within the next week. If one team dominates, then the bottom rank, the one team that loses getting kicked out is inevitable. But if those points are shared collectively, then the net run rate is going to come into the picture. So you have, let's say, GT versus MI. GT wins. MI versus DC. The MI versus DC, MI wins. And then DC versus PBKS, DC wins. So in a case like that, where a different team is winning, then everyone's going to stay equal. Everyone's going to be fighting the same way. RCB, on the other hand, plays only the lower half of the table, which means they no, if DC lose the chase against SRH, it's not over for you guys. I'll just put that up. It's not, because they still play 3 games after that. It just comes down to how many wins you can manufacture with what kind of net run rate. MI's net run rate is beyond the skies right now, so even a loss might not really affect it, because I don't expect them to lose by like 60, 70 runs. If they lose by maybe 15. So yeah, there's a lot of equations to discuss, and I think we'll start getting clarity over the next week. Until then,
Enjoy good game of cricket over the weekend. Yeah, with that, we wrap up this live and we shall see you soon. Until then, enjoy the El Clasico and have a great evening.
absolutely. See you lads. Have fun. Bye bye.